Hello, my name is Jency Nesma and I'm in Communications 101. Today I will be rehearsing my informational speech. Today's topic will be about how chocolate is made, specifically how cacao beans are taken in the process and harvesting to become the chocolate bars that we all know and love. Imagine you are walking into your favorite store and picking out a chocolate bar, that being milk chocolate, dark chocolate, even white chocolate. Most of us enjoy chocolate regularly without thinking how much work goes into it. According to the National Configurers Association, Americans consume billions of dollars worth of chocolate every year. However, every chocolate bar begins in a cacao bean where it is birthed in a tropical region where then it reaches the store shelves. A few target points that I want to go over are where cacao beans come from and where they are harvested, how cacao beans are being processed into chocolates, and the types of chocolates that we have available from their production and how they're made. Now that we have gone over the common chocolates that we have, I want to begin with looking into where it all started. Chocolate begins in a cacao tree, the Theroboa cacao, where it is grown in a warm, humid climate where it is near the equator. The largest cacao production companies are in the countries that include Ghana, Ecuador, and Indonesia. According to the World Cacao Foundation, about 70% of the world's cacao is produced in West Africa. Now to the actual anatomy of the cacao beans. The cacao trees produce a colorful pods that contain between 30 to 50 pods per bean. And in the center, it is a sweet white pulp. Farmers are the ones that harvest the pods, and they do it by hand with machetes or a long knife in order to avoid damage to the tree, in order for it to keep on producing for the next cycle. After harvesting, the pods are opened and the beans are then removed from the process, for the process. And that's where fermentation and drying comes in. Fresh cacao beans are placed in a dry environment where they are covered in banana leaves to ferment for 5 to 7 days. Fermentation then develops the chocolate's flavor and by causing natural chemicals to change the insides of the beans. The beans are then dried for several days in order to reduce moisture by shipping them to chocolate manufacturers. Once the cacao beans have been harvested, fermented, and dried, they are then ready to be transported to become chocolate. Now, factories roast the cacao beans so they can be carefully controlled with the temperatures to develop the flavor and the aroma requested. Roasting is also makes it easier to remove the thinner outer shell of the beans, and different roasting temperatures create a slightly different chocolate flavors. After roasting, the beans then crack open without the shells and leaving the cacao nibs. The nibs are then ground into a thick liquid that is called the chocolate liquid. Then you would notice that it also contains the cacao solids and the cacao butter. Then the sugar, milk powder, vanilla, and additional cacao butter is also added depending on the type of chocolate that is being produced. Chocolate is mixed with continuously during a process called conching, which then smooths the texture and develops the flavor that is wanted. Next, the chocolate is then tempered with a specific heating or cooling to stabilize the cacao butter from crystallizing. Tempering gives the chocolate that shiny coat and gives a very nice crisp and snap when you crush or break the bars. Now that we have seen how chocolate is manufactured, we can then compare the different types of chocolates that we have and love. Dark chocolate contains more cacao solids, cacao butter, and sugar, but usually no milk solids. It generally contains a higher percentage of cacao, and the higher cacao content gives the rich flavor of the dark chocolate, which then translates to less of a sweet flavor. Moving on to milk chocolate, which contains cacao solids, cacao butter, milk powder, and sugar. It is much more creamier texture and sweeter taste than the dark chocolate. Milk chocolate is also more favorable by varieties sold worldwide. White chocolate also contains cacao butter, but not any of the cacao solids. Its ingredients are typically cacao butter, sugar, milk, and vanilla. And of course, it lacks the cacao solids, which then translates to having a lighter color and a more milder taste than the other types of chocolates. Now that we have followed all of the chocolates from the cacao farm to the finished product, we can now move on to what we have learned. From the main points where we have learned how cacao beans are grown and how they have been harvested, to exploring how cacao beans are processed into chocolate through roasting, grinding, contouring, and also tempering. And then we finally compared dark milk and white chocolate, and we have learned what makes them different. As we finish, we begin with chocolate as a simple cacao that has been grown on trees with manufacturing. And those beans become chocolate products that are enjoyed around the world. And understanding this product can translate to understanding a process that is showing how agriculture, science, and food production work together to create the world's best and most popular treats. Thank you.